which is smaller than the head of a pin, is released each month.
Whatever the reason, the result year after year is the same. 1 million girls get pregnant.
There will be empty chairs because they will have died of AIDS.
I wish I could go back in time and make a commitment to be abstinent until marriage.
Okay, so we had sex ed when I was in 5th grade in school, and it was like 30 minutes one day.
But they didn't really teach us that much. They just taught us about like genitals and also like about how to not get pregnant. But like that was pretty much it.
And we all just thought it was kind of funny, because it was just very scientific. It wasn't really about sex. It was just like, this organ does this and, you can get pregnant or, it was very scientific.
Sex is one of those things that like you don't talk about, that it happens. And so it's a lot of exploring that has to happen. Yeah, I mean, it was a lot of trial and error. In the beginning, and in the exploratory process.
It's a normal thing, and that's what's happening to your body, and it's natural, but nobody's telling you these things. Like, even my mom didn't grow up, having these conversations, so I didn't even know to talk to my mom even about it because it wasn't something that she, per se, herself was doing, so...
We're also going to talk about consent explicitly. Like, we're going to talk about consent. We're going to talk about how to get consent. We're going to reinforce for both sexes and multiple genders, hey, you need to get an explicit yes. If somebody gives you a maybe, you clarify, is that a yes or is that a no? If it's a no, that's fine, but I need a yes or a no. Like, clarifying on how to get consent correctly.
So it's only been within like the last year that I've started to explore it. Just kind of, I don't know, I didn't think that would ever happen, and yet here I am.
Because, well, I mean, he did eventually get me to say yes. I came over and I thought we were just going to make out, but like, then he wanted more and I kept saying no, but then he kept being like, but you're going to give me blue balls, but like, you're really going to leave me hanging, and all of those different things, to where finally after 8 yeses and you keep coming on to me, and I'm from like a family of physical abuse, my only thought is, you may just actually hurt me and get what you want anyway. Therefore, I have no way out of this situation.
I don't know that I was ever really ashamed because of the way other people made me feel. It was a lot of internal. It was a lot of, I think I will be worth less if I experiment, if I even talk about sex in a way that other people did. And I never judged other people for talking about sex. But if I did, I was judging myself.
When I was with my ex-wife, I went through a year of reparative therapy, like Pray the Gay Way program. And so I went twice a week for a year. They would stereotype things such as dress or activities and stuff of what's masculine versus not masculine, or what in their eyes were masculine or gay. Very, very interesting and, really mentally abusive.
Yeah.
This world would be better if we could just accept people. It blows my mind that people they need other people to be like them. And I don't get it. Like, I don't need you to be anybody for me. You know, I just need you to be authentic.
Just learning about what other people enjoy, whether that's BDSM, like, you know, I like to get spanked, I like to get tied up, I like to do this or that. Aphrodisiac, like drinks and food and things to help get you in the mood, or could be like furries and, you know, people that like to get dressed up in their costumes or whatever. But just learning about what other people like, so that kids and even adults know you're not weird. You're not, you know, like, we're not all the same. We're not like all wired the same.
I mean, it'd be great if it was implemented tomorrow, like, because it's inclusive to all and not just, you know, oh, I'm just gonna cater to the straight male and the straight woman. Like, we need this for everyone, and it needs to be in school for everyone. And some parents might not like it, but if their kid is, you know, they are who they are, then they need those resources as well.
Sure. As long as my kid is in a healthy, safe relationship, I don't care who they're with, because that's not my personal, like, life. You know, I'm gonna die eventually. So, like, why should I don't want my child to hide who they are when I'm alive and be a completely different person, like, when I'm gone, or cut off being with me, and then I don't know who my kid is. I won't know who, if they decide to have children, I won't know who my grandkids are. I won't know my kid anymore, and that's a disservice to me.
We did all those things, and so there was an expectation I would grow up, I would get married to a woman, and then I would have a life, have children, you know. And I'm an only child, so, you know, there were a lot of hopes and dreams pinned on that for grandchildren. They didn't push it, but, you know, they didn't let up either. You know, it was like always this mild pressure.
Really, I hate being a woman. Just in general, we have more to be afraid of, and we're sexualized constantly, and there's just more stigma around what we can and can't do, and that has definitely carried into sex, because women are not supposed to have too many sexual partners, or they look down upon, but males can have as many sexual partners and it's not looked down upon.
I had like zero interest in sex or anything sexual whatsoever. I was pretty like repulsed by the idea, and it wasn't until maybe like 2 years ago that I realized that was so specifically tied to my gender and dysphoria. So it wasn't until I started transitioning and I got on testosterone that I got any interest in sex, because there's actually like some comfort and like enjoyment with my body, and just kind of the whole 9 yards there, to where it actually like feels fun and enjoyable.
Ask the questions, explore, push the boundaries. If in that interest of you like it, I love it, usually your partner or your person is willing to explore in that same conversation. So the embarrassment that is felt with having these type of conversations, even this interview, goes out of the window. Because
I think as I, you know, being older, so I've been into like the kink world. I mean, I dabbled in it probably 10, 12 years ago, but I've really lived it for the last 7 years.
And I think I watched porn
for the very first time when I was like 12 or 13. And then like it's not realistic, so it sets you up for like a really high standard of what sex is gonna be like, and then you actually have it, you're like, this isn't real. Like, this was all fake. When I first watched it, like a hentai came up, like, you know, those cartoon ones, and there was so much semen, and I thought that was normal. Like, I thought that was like a real man's like ejaculate.
So I think just lay it on them soon and lay it on them constant so that they know, make it less taboo, so that it's something we can just talk about openly like this, instead of having to figure out when some kid gets into the military and he turns 18.
Teenagers are sexually active. They just are. They always have been. So I also don't think there's any shame in talking about that and making sure that when young people are choosing partners, they are choosing with confidence. They're not choosing somebody because, you know, they don't feel worth anybody else. They're choosing somebody because that person will support you and will make this a pleasurable experience for both of you.
Let's talk about sex, baby. I'm just kidding. Let's talk about all the good things and the bad things that may be. Let's talk about sex.